Brett Taveau, author of Unpacking Greatness and a longtime offensive coordinator in high school. We're going to go over the Chiefs' third and sixth play. They were up 3 against the Bills, had a chance to ice this one away, and did not execute at that crucial time here. So, Brett, let's break this one down and see kind of what was happening with the Chiefs and Bills. A lot going on with this play.
No doubt. Yeah, there you see, if you roll that back to the start there, Jesse, the Chiefs are going to start in one of their favorite formations. They're going to be in a trips formation with Kelsey isolated in a compressed split there away from the trips. And then they're going to motion Sky Moore over, as we'll see in your illustration, as a man zone indicator. And then what they're going to do here is they're going to, if you could roll that back a little bit, Jesse, is they're going to flood the short side of the field here, the boundary, with what you call a Y cross concept, where they're going to Smith-Schuster, who's a number 2, is going to run an over route. He's going to try to cross the hash anywhere from 9 to probably 15 yards, depending on the defense. Sky Moore is going to run what's kind of called a V route. He's going to come in to the middle of the field and then break it high kind of to the pylon and be the deep part of this flood. And then they're going to free release the running back to the boundary there and create those 3 levels.
Well, and Von Miller had the sack here. And I do want to say, from reading your book, Unpacking Greatness, Brett, that Y cross is a very popular one for the Chiefs. So this is one of their commonly run plays. But let's get to the illustration and break this thing down to kind of go through a lot of different levels here, a lot of different things going on with both the offense and defense. So kind of fascinating to go back. Also, maybe highlighting a few of the offensive struggles the Chiefs have had and maybe some of the things they need to fix moving forward when probably they're going to face the Bills here again.
Yeah, no doubt. This was a good one you picked here because, as you said, there's a lot really going on in this 5 or 6 seconds. So as you've got illustrated there, Buffalo's going to show a 2 deep shell, which is common, and then they're going to after the snap roll down. If you see, go ahead if you want to roll that, Jesse, and you're going to you've got labeled here as well this man zone indicator. So the Chiefs are really big. They're one of the highest users of motion in the NFL to give Mahomes as much information possible pre-snap. So as you got written out there, going to follow Sky Moore across, which indicates that it's going to be some sort of man coverage.
Yeah, real quick, Brett, and they are the highest last time I checked. And this is something you can follow along with at home, which is when they send this guy in motion, if a man follows him up there, most likely it's the man coverage. And so that's what Patrick Mahomes is reading too. So he knows when the snap comes, he already kind of has figured out what the defense is going to do across from him.
So they end up in a 2x2 set there, Jesse, if you could pause it right there. So post motion, you've got a 2x2 set, and you still see, once the ball snapped, you still see these 2 safeties that are showing a 2 deep shell, and then there's going to be late rotation to try to play games because, as I referenced last week, so much is dependent in terms of what the quarterback's looking for based upon a 1 high, 2 high read post snap. So they rotating that as late as possible makes that difficult.
And also looks like a 4-man rush, but you notice this. They show the 4-man rush, but it's not actually that. And kind of interesting because this is a little bit of what the Bengals showed in the AFC Championship game last year.
Yeah, Mahomes is so good at being able to navigate the pocket and find space, particularly versus man coverage where defenders have their backs turned to where he can break the pocket and run. But here, I think that's Milano there that's walked up. And then as you got noted there, he's going to basically just mirror Mahomes and not allow him to run.
So now we have the concept you're talking about, flooding it to the boundary there, the short side of the field. But the Chiefs are kind of trying to overload if there is a zone, even though, as we talked about, it looked like Patrick Mahomes saw man coverage based off of Sky Moore's motion.
Yeah, why cross? It's one of those kind of like mesh last week we talked about. It's one of those concepts that's still what's considered an all-weather concept, but it's best, I think, for zone in a lot of ways because it is a flood concept and you're stretching your 3 levels versus your 2 levels of defense. However, you do have an opportunity to win versus man coverage, which we'll see, which the Chiefs don't do here. So yeah, Smith-Schuster's running the over route here. As you can see, Sky Moore, who motioned over to be the number 1 to the boundary, he's going to run the V route. And then, as you've got noted, the Bills changed the picture post-snap, and they're going to roll to a 1 high man structure, bringing this field safety down to play a robber cross technique to take away any intermediate throw there.
Check out our video last week on the robber, but yeah, he's at kind of the sticks trying to take that away and play a little bit differently so that Patrick Mahomes might not know exactly what he's seeing. Again, he saw too high pre-snap. They rolled to something different here post-snap.
Yeah, and it's possible that Mahomes does see him roll down, and his eyes. I think is we're going to see with the end zone view. He sees him as taking away Smith-Schuster there on the over route, so that's why maybe he gets off of that. It's kind of hard to tell how much separation Smith-Schuster gets. It's not a ton, but you can see the space as you got highlighted there that is cleared out if he's able to run away from man coverage there as well as that safety rolling down.
All right. Yeah, we'll keep rolling here. And obviously, this is sort of the big question for the Chiefs right now, which is if they get man coverage, which they've gotten, I believe it's more man coverage than any other team in the NFL so far, who can beat it and who can create separation. And for this particular play, again, we don't see much of that on this play where receivers are beating the man coverage and getting themselves wide open, or at least making it so that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to fit it in to a really tight throw.
Yeah, Jesse, you're right. I saw. I can't remember if it was yesterday or today. Buffalo had played the highest percentage of zone coverage of anybody in the NFL, and then they played just a ton of man on Sunday versus the Chiefs. So maybe an indicator of the what opponents see as the lack of ability for the Chiefs receivers to get away from man coverage as we see here. But if you can roll that back just a little bit, this one high safety here, instead of playing more of a middle of the field or staying on the hash here, continuing to get depth, he reads Mahomes' eyes and he's able to take away that third level route from Moore, which would have been an option if that safety would not have been over so far to the boundary.
And if we're talking maybe separation and the guys you would basically predict in the future might have more of an ability to beat man coverage, you're probably looking at McCole Hardman and you're probably looking at Sky Moore. So Sky Moore getting more snaps, getting more comfortable with the offense, getting more of the playbook. That could be a big key for the Chiefs down the stretch if they do face more of these man coverage looks.
Yeah, no, that's a great point you bring up. That over route there it's not too different than what we looked at last week with that big catch to Hardeman on that middle read concept where he flattened that out and ran away from man coverage. That's an example right there of if McCole Hardeman's at number 2 there running that over route, it's quite possible he's able to gain that separation to win there and get an opportunity to move the sticks.
Well, let's get to the end zone view here because the other part about this we need to talk about is Travis Kelce had man coverage. And we saw last week the Raiders were not going to allow that. He had it on this play, but he couldn't free himself. And I think there's a big reason why that we can see here on the end zone view.
Yeah, so you can see here, a good, if you could pause it there, Jesse, there we go. A good look at what Buffalo's showing. They're just showing a traditional, basically a walked up linebacker as a 3 technique and obviously a 3 technique D tackle, man coverage on Kelce there, and 2 5 technique D ends there.
And real quick, Brett, 3 techniques are the ones on the inside, just outside the guards. The 5 techniques are the wider ones, usually the ones in pass rush, basically going to come around the edges.
Yeah, 5 techniques are outside eye of the tackle, 3 techniques outside eye of the guard.
There you go.
Yeah, so and as you got highlighted there, the Bills do a great job to scheme their $120 million pass rusher on someone that struggled quite a bit this year. I think I saw I think it was Eric Eager tweeted Monday that both the Chiefs tackles were top 5 in the league in pressure surrendered. And I think there's a lot that maybe go into that with number of dropbacks, how much Mahomes is holding the ball, whatever. But either way, that's a matchup in the Bills' favor right there.
And so again, we have wastes in quotation marks here, but if Kelce was chipping, you would think he would do it on Von Miller's side. But again, if we watch this and play it through, he does it on Shaq Lawson's side, and that means it takes a while for him to get into his route.
Yeah, and you never know what would have happened with this matchup with Lawson and Brown if there's no chip. Maybe he wins that, but I think you got to take your chances one-on-one protecting with Shaq Lawson and use your chips, like you said, on Miller as much as possible. But, yeah, I mean, it's Kelce's delayed getting into his route. He's looking to shake to the outside possibly and then get across the field. I don't know if it's an option route or what he's doing there.
Well, and they love the option routes with Kelsey, which again, he has the option to kind of read the leverage in front of him, read what the defender's doing, and go a different way. But again, it seems like, again, it's hard to tell from the end zone view. It seems like Mahomes is first looking at the over route from Smith Schuster and then goes back to Kelsey, but then runs out of time.
Yeah, and this is a great shot right here because you can really see the impact of this robber safety coming down right there. If that robber, if they stay in a too high there and play, two-man coverage as they were showing pre-snap, it's very possible he's able to fit that ball into Smith-Schuster right as he's crossing the hash there. But, if you're Mahomes and you're looking at that picture, you're seeing a lot of white there surrounding that route, and you want to get off that. And then it looks like his eyes go to Kelsey, and then by the time that happens, Miller's able to win that matchup that you had highlighted there.
And it was very interesting, too. I just wanted to bring this up that this was Mahomes' reaction afterwards, where, again, I don't know who he's upset with. I would assume maybe Travis Kelce saying you got to go. You got to get into your route because, again, 3rd and 6, you think if you got Travis Kelce with man coverage, that's going to be somebody that Patrick Mahomes is going to target.
Yeah, and I don't know from by design. I would assume the chip is in the play call or in the protection call, so it's not necessarily something that he can choose not to do if the situation presents itself. But I don't know. That's a good point you bring up there. Who is he upset with? Somebody who did not do something that he expected.
And again, Brett, just a big picture view of this. Again, the Chiefs have an amazing offense. I think they're still 2nd in the NFL, 3rd in the NFL from most of the measures out there. But it just kind of bring up this one play, some of the things that have gone wrong with them. 1st and 2nd down haven't always been successful, which leaves Patrick Mahomes to do his magic on 3rd down. You talk about guys beating man coverage, which has been an issue. Perhaps Sky Moore can be a guy, and McCole Hardman later in the season when he gets healthy can help with that. And then obviously a reliance on Travis Kelce in the go-to situation. So a lot of different things here, along with a little bit of the AFC Championship, how the Bengals defended them last year. A lot going into this one play potentially, and a lot of you hear about coaches talking about teaching film. This is something potentially they can look at and say, hey, you need to have these answers for the rest of the season when these sort of things are going to come up again.
Absolutely. Yeah. This was, as you said, this was a play that just a microcosm of a lot of the things that plagued the offense and did a little bit last year at times.
All right, Brett. Well, I appreciate your time, and thanks to all you guys out there for checking out the details here at the Kansas City Star.